Hello. Hi.
You happy we're all sat down now?
We're all sat down now.
I'm not allowed to move now.
Not allowed to move.
No.
This is it. You have to just stay here forever.
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome to the Eccentric Lady Society podcast.
Woo!
Today's guest is Ruth from Black Liver, which is a comedy duo,
Mm-hmm.
a musical duo, and you're from Blackpool as well.
I'm from Blackpool. We're called Black Liver because I'm from Blackpool. My partner's from Liverpool. And yeah, we've been doing that for about 5 years-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but before that, I've been writing and doing all sorts for many, many years.
Many,
I'm a
many
very old
years.
lady.
Oh, no. So, from Blackpool to Black Liver, how did your journey? Well, I know from personally knowing you that at one point you were a teacher.
Yes. Yeah.
Are we allowed to talk about that? I don't want to
Yeah.
That's fine. I mean, is that fine?
Yeah, I talked about it loads on stage when I was a stand-up. So mainly my material was taking the mickey out of the kids.
So
yeah,
it's okay.
It's fine. I started off doing educational theatre when I was about. I'd just been doing Amdram at Polton Drama, and someone saw me in the audience, and booked me from that. So I must have been like 17. My first ever job was doing educational theatre. So I was still at college and then went straight into doing a play around schools and art centres about sex education.
Oh, perfect. That's comedy gold, that.
Oh, it's horrendous.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Like on a daily basis, I had to blow up condoms and because it was a puppetry company.
Yes.
So it was different sort of puppetry of the penis. And I ended up, actually, more recently, I did warm up for puppetry of the penis. It was like a full circle. So yeah, my
synchronicities again, like we were talking about before, synchronicities.
Yes, that was my first job going into education, was like educational theatre, and yeah, drawing faces on condoms.
Amazing.
And to make sure it was the non-lubricated side. Sharpies don't write on spermicide.
Do they not?
Apparently not. Yeah.
You know what? I feel that's a fact that not a lot of people know.
Exactly.
But maybe more people need to know it.
They do.
Maybe that's a valuable piece of information.
Yeah. And so I'd blow that up, and it was a play called, I think, Sex and Chips. And I did that. So then after that, went off to university. But then it was like, all right, I've already done education. I've done workshops. And so, you leave university, and I had no idea what I was going to do. I did night school in makeup, but then I realised I don't like touching other people's faces. I love makeup.
Yeah, I love makeup. Yeah.
Love it. But I did a bit of bridal makeup, which is stressful, isn't it?
I can imagine, because it's like someone's big day, and if you get it wrong, you get it wrong.
And it doesn't matter, they got divorced anyway, so it's fine. I did a bit of that and realised it wasn't for me. So like that intimacy of going like, I'm going to have to make conversation with you and like touch your lips. Too much.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's intense.
So I decided I wasn't going to do that. So I went and worked at the Co-op Insurance for a little bit, and I got sacked.
Oh, God.
For the Financial Ombudsman. I was investigated for fraud.
Oh, God.
I didn't fraud them.
You didn't?
No. All I said was to a little old lady on the phone. She said, I've been sent a cheque. I said, well, does it have your name on it? She said, yes. I said, well, fuck it, cash the cheque, ask no questions. They recorded me saying it.
Oh, God,
no! And I was investigated. The cheque was for £6.
£6?
Yeah.
Right.
She'd obviously,
Yeah.
Apparently it was a security breach.
Yeah.
I was happy to go. So then after that, I went, right, I need a job. And my friend was doing like supply teaching and stuff. So she went, why don't you come and do this?
Yeah.
And all right. And I was dreadful at it. But because I don't think anybody can be a good supply teacher.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's hard. You're sort of going in to teach someone else's class, not used to you. They don't really want to be taught by you, their old teacher. It's hard. It's rough.
And we worked it out, and like sometimes you're on less than minimum wage. After you've paid the fees for the agency that have booked you, you've driven around because you've got lost, because this was before we had sat navs. So we're on the AA route finder that you've got off the internet.
Yeah.
and in 3 stops time, turn left. I've lost. So you get there. On my very first day, I was working in a nursery. I'm the youngest member of my family, never changed a nappy, don't know anything about kids, have no maternal instincts. First day, went, right, there's 13 nappies to change. Off you go. So I had no idea what I was doing.
Oh, God.
At one point, I didn't realise you weren't meant to leave them on the side, like a cup of tea.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Didn't last in nursing. I think it was after a child had put a green pencil up its nose. I got a lot of material.
Amazing.
But
you know what? All these experiences, I had a really wild ride, but I feel like you had to go through them to be able to do what you're doing now and like to have that breadth of knowledge you can call from.
Exactly. And everyone's been to school, and well, not everybody, but most people have had some sort of experience of going to school. So, and then I wrote about it. I wrote plays, because in that time I was writing for educational theatre companies. So I wrote for the NHS for a little while, NHS Scotland, and I had this play that I just changed for every year. They had, there's a new issue.
Yeah.
So can we slot in GHB into the play? Yeah, I go, well, we'll change one of the characters. They're doing GHB, it's fine. It's like Hollyoaks, but on stage, essentially. Just got different actors each year. And all right, yeah. Could we do gambling? Yeah, we'll get a gambling addiction in there.
Yeah,
easy.
we'll slot this in. Yeah.
By the
I'll tick that one off.
We had different kind of, we had a ketamine bit for one. We had date rape. And it was funny, to be fair.
It was
managed
funny.
to get you, because you
can't.
I
feel like they're such heated subjects. It can't help but be a bit funny.
Exactly.
It's so dramatic.
It's so dramatic, and you go, you can't get kids to, because the police would go and we'd do these sessions every year. And they had the same police officer come in and he'd do the same jokes, and he'd start his session. It was this Scottish fella. I don't know whether I'm allowed to say this, but sorry. We'd go in and he'd start his sessions with, hello. What did the mummy buffalo say to the baby buffalo at the school gates? By son. What do you call a spider with no atoms? A current. And then what was it? What is Beethoven's favourite fruit? A banana. Oh, you're killing these jokes. and there'd be a sea of silence. And you go, right. Can any of yous tell me a joke? I am very disappointed. None of yous are funny. Anyway, funny over. Now we're here to talk about cannabis. And then I'd do the show, and I'd get different actors in, and we'd be, it'd make funny, and we'd try and make it interactive. It was like the kids had come to it's like they'd come to a nightclub and they encounter all these different characters on this nightclub. So it'd be music, and it'd be all right. So if you see someone like this, maybe you'd want to have to resuscitate them, and then they'd get someone from the NHS to come in and go, this is how you might resuscitate them. So it's like, but then the police would come out, and the fire brigade were brilliant. They were always funny. They'd tell some funny stories about like how fires would get set and how people are useless. And them saying one story of a fire was started because someone thought they were drunk. They'd come in, they tried to fry an egg. Turns out it was half a tinned peach. But they'd seen it open in the fridge and thought, there's an egg. And they tried to fry it, set it on fire, and the house got set on fire.
Stop it! That's mental!
The fire brigade, funny. Police, they just show horrendous footage of car crashes. This is another dead body, and this is another dead body, and then there's another one. They'd get a bottle of Coke or like a 2-litre bottle of water, empty it out, and go, "That's how fast you die if you're stabbed in the leg." Jeez. Oh, right. You can see the kids going, right, that's me carrying a knife then. Definitely. So we try and approach it with comedy. And so I've always ended up doing things funny, even when I'm not supposed to.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then that's what led me to go, right, well, I just ended up trying stand up because it seemed to be a job that you could just do.
Yeah.
There was no barrier to it.
Yeah. Well, you're either funny or you're not, aren't you?
Yeah, I do think you can work hard on it, and because there's some unnaturally funny. You see in the green rooms, there's some people that aren't funny in real life,
Yeah.
and then they get on stage and they have crafted it beautifully.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I've heard about people like coming up with loads of jokes and then using like comedy nights to just try them all out, and then like
oh yeah, that's what you
ticking
get.
off things that
Yeah.
work, crossing out things that don't.
Yeah, you can't do comedy on your own in your bedroom. It's one of the only things you got to practice in front of an audience, which is horrible.
Yeah.
Like the first time you're going, I don't know if this is even makes sense. Never mind funny, and you've just got to say it out of your face and in front of people, and that's like. Whereas everything else, you go, oh, stories or novels, you can, or acting even. You've got rehearsal time. And then, hello,
you're going to come up here if you want.
Come and be an eccentric lady.
Come on. She is a lady. Come on, Coco.
Real eccentric.
Should be an eccentric lady.
Go.
There we go. We've got our third eccentric lady now. Welcome, Coco, to the stage. I know, sorry, carry on.
Nice. Yeah, it's a weird one. So you're trying to go, but it is a thing that you don't have to be have a certain education, and you don't have to know how to write particularly well, because no one's going to see your handwriting or your spelling, or you just can get up there and try it, and that's what I kind of liked.
I like that. Like I know quite a few like really funny people in my personal life. You meet them, and you're like, if you decided to go into comedy, you'd absolutely kill it.
And that's it. You can just, and there's a group of people around you. The friends I made in comedy, they're people I've sort of kept hold of.
Yeah.
And because when you're going into the arts, it's very isolating in a way. Acting, you turn up to gigs, turn up to auditions, because I worked for a casting agency for a little while, just like on off days, and it's so brutal. And you're just looking at headshots, going, could they sell at A.L.M.O.R.A?
It must be really difficult as well to just receive rejection after rejection after rejection, and to give the rejections as well. I imagine that's really rough.
It's like, no, thanks, we'll be in touch. We won't.
Yeah.
Or even just like the brutality of going, nah, they look a bit Hebden Bridge. No, we need something a bit more.
Bridge.
Yeah, we need something a bit gritty. No, they're a bit. And so you're just judging and categorizing straight off. And you realise that's what people are doing to you.
Yeah. It's weird to be aware that people do that to you as well. Because I always feel like I'm just.
Just
existing. But it's so strange that people view you. And I go, they sort of tick off and think that's
the pigeonhole I'm going to put you in.
It's weird.
I did that. I was on the panel for the auditions for drama school for Manchester Metropolitan University School of Theatre. I think it's called now MST, but when I was doing it, it was Manchester Metropolitan School of Theatre. And it was you would see this sea of 18-year-olds coming in, and very quickly have to go, could they? And you could be wrong, and I still have the guilt. There's certain people that I shouldn't have rejected them. They were good, but you're seeing so many faces.
You have to make the decisions like that. You can't.
There's one young lad, and I thought, because you've got that unconscious bias. I realise I've got huge unconscious. Everybody does.
Yeah.
And so because I realised I was always a bit more favourable to Scottish people.
That's so weird.
Because I think, obviously, like half my family are Scottish, and there must be just something in there that goes, well, they've travelled a long way, and I don't know what it is, but and then I had to. So luckily, I wasn't obviously the only one on the panel. We had to, be conscious of your biases.
biases. Yeah.
Because I was very I think unconsciously or maybe consciously biased against overly privileged young men. And it's not their fault.
It's not their fault.
It's not their fault. But it was,
Yeah.
you know, I'd always say the interview, and people say this, the interview starts before you even enter the room. And like there'd be just like entitled people that think I was like on reception because I'd make sure I'd go down and get, I'm going on a right ramble, I'm sorry.
It's interesting though. It is interesting. I mean,
I'd sit there and I'd take all their names and they think I was just the receptionist.
Yeah.
And then you'd hear them like chatting. And then there was one lad and he was boasting all the way up the stairs and he didn't hold the door open for like the girl behind him. And I just made a really smart comment downstairs. And then I was the one interviewing him. And you could see his face like that. Oh, all right. Okay. Yeah, you didn't think that, did you?
Yeah.
And then he had to do his
Mr. Nice Guy act.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and he tried to do the really cringe thing of so I'd do that. I went to this drama school many years ago. Surely not many years ago. Surely it was only last year. Oh, shut up. You can't wiggle your way back in my good books now.
Yeah.
Trying to do awkward flirting. I'm an old lady compared to you. It's weird. Come on. Yeah. So yeah, lots of different. Yeah, you judge people, and that's one thing I hadn't sort of taken into consideration doing stand up. Was the audience do make an assumption about you before you even open your mouth?
Yeah.
And when I first started, this was what sort of mid 2000s, early 2000s, and there weren't as many female comics.
I can imagine. And you have that horrible thing that people say, well, like, oh, women aren't funny.
Oh, God, yeah. And it was always women that tell you that.
Really?
Yeah. Always women. Men would go, yeah, you're all right for a bird. Women would go, I don't normally find women funny because, women aren't funny, but you're all right.
Yeah.
Was always
they just say it out loud.
And it's just like, yeah, something we've already, and I get it. It's that we're trained to have a competitiveness.
Yeah.
Because you knew as soon as you walked out on stage, if there was a couple on stage, the man wouldn't laugh at you. If there was a couple in the front row, the man wouldn't laugh at you because he's frightened that his missus is going to think he fancies you. And she won't laugh at you because there's like a competitiveness.
Yeah.
Groups of women, fine. Groups of men, fine. You can deal with it. But couples were always the hard ones to crack.
That's weird.
Hen-dos were always awful.
Really?
Oh, well, you know what we're like. Women en masse, drinking.
Yeah.
It's about me. It's about me. Oh,
yeah.
God.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. Teachers.
Teachers
the worst. It's fine. If you slag off Ofsted within the first 5 minutes, you're fine.
You're fine.
Yeah.
You're in. So I've kind of like followed the journey from the start all the way through to comedy, haven't we now?
Yeah. Done a ramble there.
We've done a ramble, we got there. But yeah, I was going to ask you, do you ever remember your first ever gig?
Yes.
Would it have been?
Oh, I loved it. It was the best. The second gig was dreadful, but the first one was amazing.
Just enough to get you hooked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a Frog and Bucket. And Sarah Millican was headlining. And then there was a load of new acts beforehand. So it was quite early on. I think she'd just been signed to Avalon, so she'd not done telly or anything.
Yeah.
And after my gig, and I think I did 10 minutes. I had a song about my mum being a dinner lady, and a bit of material about working in a nursery.
Yeah.
I can't really remember much about the material, but I remember it was essentially talking about bad tattoos on a child's mum, and a demon child, and then talking about me being at school and my mum making me very uncool by being a dinner lady. And I loved it. So it was the best thing ever. And then Sarah Millican gave me advice afterwards.
Yeah.
And said, move that word there, say this bit a little bit faster, and you'll get a bigger laugh. And I did it,
Wow.
and it worked.
No
Like,
way. So it's like this science to it, which you
Yeah.
pick up over
Yeah.
time.
It's like, right, because it's about getting to the laugh as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And you can know I have a tendency to do a ramble.
Yeah.
I love a ramble.
Yeah.
I love words. I love getting there in a more interesting way. That's why I think I've ended up doing more plays and spoken word and that kind of stuff and songs. But when it's comedy, it's a science. You get to the laugh as quickly as possible.
Yeah. Boom, boom, boom.
Cut away all the
Fluff.
Yeah, and get there. And she just, Second gig was I played in a bar where I think the EDL used to meet, but I got paid £20. So,
Swings and roundabouts. Swings and roundabouts.
The audience were that quiet. My teeth went that dry. That kind.
Yeah.
Just got through my time and
oh my god, it's a woman.
Yeah. Awful. But a gig I did in Scotland was doing a show with Jem Brister. We were like doing a few different shows together, and I was opening and she was closing, and I walked up to the stage and it was this just men going, "Oh, it's a fucking woman," and I opened my mouth and they went, "And she's fucking English."
Oh my god.
Oh, brilliant. And then
it's you have to be so brave as comedians, though. I feel like it's a different kind of bravery, because I remember, like, I go to the Blackpool Comedy Club every now and again because it's a great Friday night. It's not too expensive. It's lovely evening, and like some of these comedians, I can see that they're having a panic attack.
Yeah.
I can tell. You know what I mean? They're like shaking before they're going on. They're like gulping, like taking the water loads. And some of the audience members, I feel like they're just there to give them as hard a time as possible.
Yeah.
And it's like, why are you getting a kick out of being an arsehole?
But I think there's definitely been a shift. I think there was a time when I'd get a lot of a bit of stick. I'd get your tits out and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I was in my 20s and had cracking tits. They're still great. But, so you'd get a bit of that kind of stuff. But I feel like there's come back round to, there's a culture of let's heckle, it's that kind of roast battle, that aggressiveness that I don't think it nurtures creativity.
Oh, definitely. You can't be creative if you're frightened.
Yeah.
Like, I found, like, with my art and my music, I don't really I don't like falling out with people. I don't try to fall out with people. But any friends who I've had who would take the mick out of anyone trying to be anything, I've had to distance myself from, because I find like those sort of voices of criticism, I internalize them, and I'll try and do stuff and I'll be like, this is cringe. And you have to like sort of like move past that to do anything in life.
Exactly. This whole cringe culture of going, oh my god, it's like there's an act called Josie Long. I think she's brilliant. But one of her first Edinburgh shows, well, the first ones that got big was, I think it was like trying is cool. Because this notion of oh god, it's so embarrassing to not be an expert at something. Of you got to go through the cringe bit.
You have to.
Yeah. Like, and then the gold happens. But being a bit shit at something, that's the thing, that's fun.
Yeah.
Just try it.
Also, you've just got to at least try to get good. You have to at least put something out there.
Yeah. Otherwise, you just sat there laughing at other people.
Yeah.
Doing what?
Yeah.
Fuck all.
A lot of people who critique others have never produced anything worthy of critique in their lives.
Exactly. Darling.
Darling. So, of course, the obvious question, how did Black Liver come to be? Did you and your partner try being a serious, like, I know there's some music, were you a folk duo first? Or did you and you realised laughter was better, or was it that you were both comedians? Like, how did that?
Well, the story begins. We both had.
Sorry, can I just check that it is recording?
Yeah.
I'm getting really paranoid. I did this.
I do exactly the same.
No, it is recording. Right. We're back. Okay, yeah. So how did Black Liver
How
come
did
to
it
be?
become again? Right, well, Keith and I both were comics at
Mhm,
the same time, and we both had we never gigged together
mhm.
because we both played the guitar on it during our acts, and you never get two guitar acts on a bill. For a while, it was like, oh, you
Ah.
can't have two women on a bill because you don't want two novelty acts. So you don't get two guitar acts. So we were never booked together, but we had the same agent.
Mm.
And then we bonded over our dislike of our agent because he kept putting us up for like really crappy gigs. Like, I've got this great gig for you. It's 20 quid. It's in a hospice. You're performing to dying children. It'll be great for exposure. No, it won't.
No, it
That'd be
won't. Oh
dreadful.
my god.
So he sent me off to do a
It's
gig.
almost like you said about pigeonholing. They've gone. They're not that great. We'll put them in the hot. I'll give them those ones. Do you know what I mean? And then they have
Yeah.
their favourites, but they
Oh,
can't come out and say that.
and I think he was a bit deluded.
Yeah.
He put us up for a gig, and I went and did it because he went, oh, it's a corporate. Now
Mm.
corporate's normally really well paid, um, and he's still out there. So if he watches this, um, um, he said, all right, you're doing the AGM of a
Mhm.
football club.
Mm.
Oh, great.
Mm.
That's
Mm.
great. I've got a bit of sports material.
Yeah, yeah.
Turn up. It was the under 16s
Oh no.
um, football club, and I've got no kid friendly material.
Oh god, no.
I'm not a children's entertainer,
You
so
made jokes about children you taught.
yes. So turn up. Well, I'm getting paid before I start.
Yeah.
So made me sweaty money, put it in my pocket, and the kids just were running around. I'm stood in the middle of the stage, and there's kids just bouncing around the dance floor. It was a dance floor.
Yeah.
I had the DJ mic, so I had the hold tight, grab us friend, scream if you want to go faster type microphone. Right, okay. So I did a bit of material. No one was listening. I ended up just picking the biggest kid in the room and doing arm wrestling with them. Let them win.
Let
Loved
them
it.
win. Loved it. You're like, oh my god, this is amazing. This is amazing. Best day of my life.
So yeah, we bonded over our annoyance at our agent, and then I was running a gig at the Frog and Bucket
Mm-hmm.
and said, right, I wanted to do a different kind of night where it wasn't just stand up. I was bored of cis white men standing with microphones
Yeah.
telling jokes about their misses. So
Yeah. It's like, why are you married to them if
yeah.
you hate them this much? What's
Oh,
going
oh, my
on?
kid's a dick. You're like, yeah, brilliant. Right. So I wanted to create a weird night that had like variety and a
Mm.
band, and so I was comparing, and I wanted there to be a story time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd created Porn and Ori Corner, and I'd written porn,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I got a band to play, and I got Keith to read the story in character.
Amazing.
And that was the first time he met my parents.
Great
So
start to a relationship.
yeah,
Yeah.
so as my new partner, only just met,
Yeah.
and he's reading porn on stage. And my mum and dad were in the audience. It was lovely. And then we had like a magician. We had um, uh, a comedian doing the accordion,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, all of that. So
Yeah. Yeah.
we started working together straight away and went,
Mm.
all right, this is great fun. Let's write porn together. It'll be great. It's fun. And then
Go.
we did the Edinburgh Festival. We're both doing a show, and I did my show. He was doing his show, and I went. He needed someone in his show, so
Yeah.
I went. Oh, I'll do the
I'll
role.
go. I'll do it.
I'll do that. And then I was doing a show with somebody else. I was doing about 4 shows a day during the Fringe, and I was shattered. And we shared a flat with a load of other comics and our agent, and it
Fun.
was
That's one word for it.
And we were watching Primal Scream one night because they were on at Princess Street Gardens, and I went, I want to do something different. I want to play loud.
Yeah.
And we'd snuck in, you know, so it would like manage to listen to one. I want to play loud. I want to do something like radical. And I went, all right, let's do that then. And Keith was waiting the next day. My show was at 1 PM. He was stood at the top of the stairs waiting for the show to finish. And he'd come up with the idea. He went, because he'd been listening to my show and I was talking about being from Blackpool and all that kind of stuff. And he was doing a character that was from Liverpool. I went, right, we're going to be called Black Liver. And I went, yeah, all right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That makes sense.
It's a cool sounding name as well. It's got a punch to it, definitely.
But then we obviously just carried on doing gigs, and we mutually sacked our agent. And then went, right, let's start writing stuff. And then lockdown happened.
Oh, God.
And it was, all right, we either make this work or we don't.
Yeah.
And our first show, luckily we got a commission from Spot On Lancashire, and that got us through lockdown. And that was our first show we sort of did together. And we're still touring that now.
That's amazing.
It was, and we were doing videos just for fun each week. So we had a structure, you know, during lockdown. It was having a structure. So we'd once a week we'd write a song.
Yeah.
We'd film it. We'd put all of the music together, and then we'd release it on a Friday, and then we'd get drunk. So it meant we weren't getting drunk every night. We had jobs to do.
Friday night.
Yeah, so we still had that kind of, okay, here's on Monday to Friday. We're writing songs, we're writing poems, we're writing scripts.
Yeah.
And we were in a 1-bedroom flat.
Yeah.
So I'd be in one. I'd be in one room. Keith would be in the other, and then we'd come together and.
So what's your process when you're writing them?
We talk a lot about the ideas, and then we go off separately and do our own bits. And then come together and then go, all right, I'll do that bit and I'll do that bit and I'll do that bit. And then we rehearse and then we fall out. And then eventually
tick that box.
Yeah, we've had a row. That's cool. And then we come back together.
Yeah.
And yeah, it seems to work.
Yeah.
Funny because like when it comes to like stories, we'll talk something through and go, okay, how about that? So we're developing a story, a show at the moment, going right. What characters can go in there? How can we make that funny? How can we? What's the point in what we're doing? Make sure we always go. What do we want the audience to leave feeling, and why are we telling this story? Why is that character? We don't just want to take the piss out of a genre of person, or it's. Without sounding like, oh, it's got to have a meaning or preachy, but there's got to be a point.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And you want an audience to leave feeling something. Yeah. So make that decision and then talk through ideas. And then sometimes I'll go, I've got an idea, but I don't think I can write it. Well, I think it'll be better in your voice. So I'll go, right, write that. And then Keith will do the same. We'll go, right, this needs to be a bit more... have more poetry or have so we sort of share it out like that.
I imagine you get more bookings as a duo as well.
Yeah, I think
it's more, you know, when you said about novelty, well, you don't get many duos, you don't get many musical duos.
Yeah, so that's it. We've got like 3 different versions. We've got like sort of more play version, we've got just music, and then we've got sort of more stand-up kind of vibes.
Have you ever performed any of your songs and gone, oh shit, I think we've gone too far with this?
I'm trying to think. Oh, I've gone too far. I have been after a gig. This was a long time ago. I got pinned in the toilets by a woman and told I was offensive.
You got pinned and told you were offensive?
Yeah, by a drunk woman. Because I would take the mickey out of, and I worked in a special needs school, and it's material I wouldn't do anymore because I could know how. I still defend the material, but I I was poking fun at situations that I got in
Mm.
at working in this school with special needs. I
Yeah.
was never mocking the children. It was mocking my own idiocy. But these stories can very easily, with drunk audience members, offend.
Yeah.
So I was pinned in the toilets and told that I was offensive and that I should be. And I remember the words, "You should be doing jokes about shoes
Shoes.
and the difference between men and women." And that's really specific.
I just wish there's more shoe jokes in the world, and you could be the conduit for this idea.
I mean, yeah, I'll do my best. I remember it was in Stockport. I remember, those moments going, "Oh, right, how do I get out of this?"
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't be doing this material. And I was taking the mickey out of myself here, but because I remember another act saying, "Don't drop that. That's really good," and I'm not doing it anymore.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
I just can't have. I'll end up with a barrage of women in toilets telling me to do jokes about shoes.
Yeah.
I can't handle it.
Yeah. So I used to, after that, I'd always make an effort. It was one of those weird superstitions I had after that.
Yeah.
I'd always have to talk to a woman in the toilets before I went on stage. I'd have to compliment a woman in the toilets before I go on stage. It was like, okay, I've got.
It's a compliment by any chance I like your shoes.
Love your shoes. Anyway, bye. So it was like some sort of protection. After that, hello.
Oh, she's back now.
You're back.
She's back.
You're going to do some more licks?
Yeah.
Do licking. Got a pretty face, haven't you? Hello.
Oh, that's a funny little superstition. It's like I hear about a lot of them with acting. Like you know what? It's left my brain. It doesn't matter. I was thinking of Macbeth for some reason.
Oh yeah, you're not allowed to say Macbeth.
That's it.
It's got to be the Scottish play.
The Scottish play. That's the one.
I don't know why that came about. It's probably someone will be able to tell us.
Yeah.
The other one, you're not allowed to whistle in theatres.
Yeah.
But that was, I think, from the time when all the stagehands used to be sailors, so whistling meant something different. That's how they communicate.
No way.
So it would mean that you'd probably get something dropped on you if you whistled.
Oh wow, that's so interesting. So, we got the question: if you could do a musical comedy collaboration with any historical figure, I know this is like who would it be, and what would the song be called?
Any historical figure?
Yeah.
Oh,
I just drop this on you if you can't. Straight, it's fine.
I always, when I think about it, it's my first one that comes to mind is always Genghis Khan, and I don't know why. I just think, obviously, a very interesting figure.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel, as a female,
I feel like he'd be good at the flute as well.
Yes, so he's got some good blowing skills on him.
Although, King Henry, well, apparently he wrote Greensleeves. But did he actually write Greensleeves, or did he walk past a peasant like playing Greensleeves and go, "I wrote that, didn't I?" Like,
yes, you did.
Yeah, but apparently.
Yeah, but the last show the Miss Nobody show that we did, we studied Ethel Carney Holdsworth, and she is cited as the first female working class novelist in this country. And her book Miss Nobody is really funny, and I'd really like. So the colloquialisms she uses and that kind of thing makes it sometimes a little bit difficult to read or understand. But that's because it's working class, and working class language moves more quickly than upper class language. So it's just been the same clipped English, whereas the sort of language from the streets. So I think she would be, because her book's hilarious, dark, proper dark comedy. Like 1 minute I was crying, the next minute I'm laughing. It's like a Jenny Eclair book, and so apparently she was like a miserable woman.
And makes for a good comedian.
Yes,
makes for a good comedian.
I spoke to her great niece on the phone, so she's like in her 90s, And I said, what was she like? She was very gruff. She wore lots of hats, never took them off, and smoked a lot. I went, sounds like my kind of lady. So I think I'd pick her.
That's a good answer. That's a good answer. I have another question.
Go on.
What's it like touring the UK as a comedy act? That's such a unique way to lifestyle to have. Such a unique. Have you ever had a near death experience?
We've broken down a lot.
Yeah.
It is fascinating. Absolutely love it. Like I suppose the closest to near death, not near death. We were driving from Elgin to Shropshire, so a long way.
Yeah.
And so I need to stop. I'm gonna fall asleep. And Keith's got glaucoma and can't see very well, so he can't drive.
Yeah.
So and he has night blindness, so I wouldn't want to drive with him.
Yeah.
So I'm the one that does the driving. And we pulled up in this car park, and it was near Carlisle. So we'd done quite a fair bit. We still had quite a fair bit to go. Well, we'll eat a sandwich. And Keith went, I need the toilet. So there's no toilets, just a car park.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we saw these lights come on from other cars. And then like full beams come on. And this was, I'd say, 2:00 in the morning.
Oh no.
I know, fuck. So don't get out for a wee. No, don't get out for a wee. It turns out we turned up with like a massive dog in sight.
Stop it! No!
Went, oh no, people are no, there's willies, we need to leave now.
Oh my god, that's such a mental thing. Could you just see people just about?
Yeah, but we had no idea. Like
these are the kind of things that you're like, does it really exist? Is it real? Does it exist in real life?
I've done it once before, but that was in a service station. I'd walked up to a car and it was like early hours, and we saw the full beam on.
Yeah.
And we went, I best tell them the full beam's on. They might not know.
Yeah.
Went, excuse me. Oh no, she's noshing him off. Right? No.
They know. They know. In fact, this is like, please, can you approach us? We exhibitionists. We want a crowd.
Oh, they already know, right? Well, sorry to disturb. Off we go. Yeah. So now we know if we ever want to go dogging, exactly near Carlisle.
If you need to spice things up.
Just
more material for the comedy.
It's such a bizarre one. Yeah, because you're always driving in the late night.
Yeah,
we get to see a different side of the UK.
A different side of yeah.
But it's fascinating. Like we get to see towns that you'd never normally go to.
Yes.
So we do like a nice tour around the northeast of Scotland. So that's up in like Buckie and Elgin, and then we found this old castle, like ruins, and it turns out, and people are probably able to will give us great details, but Slains Castle, no signage, nothing, and it turns out it used to be a hotel, and it's where Dracula was inspired from.
Dracula?
Yeah.
No way!
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
And it's just dog walkers walking around these ruins, sheer cliff down into rocky sea.
It's mad that this is just these gems hidden away.
And then we performed in this town, and it was where Lawrence of Arabia used to go. I might have got that wrong. Somebody went and had their lovely little affairs with another man, because obviously it was a secret and illegal.
Maybe.
So yeah, we get like little slices of history in different places, and then like the next moment we're down in Brighton, and
I don't doubt, by the way, that the people who had affairs with the man in history. It's more that it didn't click Lawrence of Arabia. I don't know if I'd know them historically.
No,
but I hope I don't sound like a cretin.
And I might sound like a complete numbskull having said that.
But I don't know who that is.
But we get told that we turn up to places and people are dead proud of where they come from.
Yeah, and you know what?
Yeah, and we get all these little snippets of stories, and it's fascinating. And then after the shows, we get to talk to people, and Is library and bookie that we've been to, I think 3 times now. Get the best fish and chips, and down in Shropshire, all these little towns that we just get to turn up to and
explore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Stay in random B&Bs in places.
What's one of the weirdest places you've been to?
Weirdest place. We
or maybe even weirdest venue you've played.
Weirdest venue. We do. So when we're doing rural stuff, we've turned up to one place, and the sat nav either doesn't work when you get to really, really rural places, or it's just that no, postcodes don't work around here. So we ended up in the middle of a field, and then there was sheep everywhere. Because we'd followed the track, followed it, and then this farmer comes out on what do you call them? A quad bike.
Yeah.
And goes, "Hiya, you the actors? You the comedians? Yeah, follow me." And it turns out we'd just landed on the farmer's land. That it was the wife was coming to the show.
Yeah.
And had said, "Oh yeah, they look lost and like actors." I had rollers in.
Oh,
darling. We've not got a 4-wheel drive, clearly.
Yeah.
We're not from round here. And we had to then follow this quad bike who was
thank God for the rollers.
Yeah. And he was herding sheep at the same time. So we were just following a quad bike and sheep and a sheepdog.
Yeah.
And was beautiful because one of the sheep, when you're being watched at work, it never goes right, does it?
No.
This was one sheep just going, "Nah, I'm not moving." You could see him going, "No, don't do this when people are watching."
Yeah.
Come on. He's been dead polite, and then eventually he calls a sheep a cunt, and herds it off. And then we ended up doing a gig in this sort of function place in the middle of nowhere. Went, where are the audience coming for this? There's no houses, and then all of a sudden it's just filled with people.
That's crazy.
And
so it must have been known to the locals, like this is a hot spot for like interesting things going on.
And they just all turned up and were a lovely audience. Yeah. But there were sheep at the window.
Yeah. Are you sure they weren't the fake?
Yeah. and then we did one in a private school. We got booked to do a private.
That's so crazy.
And so all of the locals, so it was proper Hogwarts. We ate with the students.
Yeah.
And I think it was this thing they booked a cultural activity, and they invited the local townspeople.
Yeah.
So the townspeople just wanted to come and see what the school looked like.
Yeah.
But they wanted a cultural activity for the pupils.
Yeah.
They're all international students. So like half of them didn't know our cultural reference points, and comedy relies on a certain level of understanding.
Yes.
So you could see they went, "Oh, it's interesting." No idea what's going on. There's another one. Right, I'll the final one. Right, we turn up, and it's like a commune in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So it was a cathedral-sized venue. And it turns out it was like a rehabilitation centre.
Yeah.
It had been started and got lots of funding. It had been started by people escaping the Holocaust. And they'd moved to this rural space, and you just drove up into the hills. There was just lights, and it was pitch black. And then there was people with learning difficulties that just lived. So it had been started by people like escaping the Holocaust, and then they said, "Whoever needs help, come and live here with us." So there's all these like shacks in the woods, and then we were booked to do this show, and then just people came out of the woodworks again, and
it's giving like midsummer.
Yeah. And then the gig finished, and then it was a grand piano on stage with us. It was like huge.
Yeah.
And then the gig finished. They all went, "Thank you."
Yeah.
Left. And then we're left on our own in this big venue.
Yeah.
In the middle of nowhere. With no street lights. There's no streets.
Yeah.
It was just...
Oh, I've said it because I chat for Britain, so I've just said it. There's
Oh,
10
so I've
minutes
just gone
left.
on a ramble. I'm
No,
sorry.
no,
Yeah.
that's fascinating. We've got 10 minutes left, though. You know what? I'm going to ignore this. I'm just going to ask questions I want to ask. So that's well interesting. That's crazy.
Fascinating, because you do get to meet all sorts of different people, and just went, all right, so how did this start? And then there's this woman saying, oh yeah, it was Holocaust survivors. And then they have these little houses of people that they go, well, we want them to experience culture.
Mm-hmm.
We bring in different shows. So they have like concert pianists come and do one thing, and then right, we'll get comedy, and they brought in comedians. Yeah, they did.
That's crazy. That's really interesting. Just wondering, like, that makes me think of like folk horror, which is one of my favourite genres. I love folk horror, absolutely adore it. I love folk stories, I love ghost stories, I love that sort of thing. Is there any times where that, like, your comedy material interlinks with that world?
We did a scene actually set in a library. It was trying to find as many different characters we could put in a library, and so we had bit like ghosts, ghosts in a library and figuring out how they died. And one was a Victorian librarian, and one was someone that had come in and got squashed by the vending machine when he was at Job Club.
Very different. Very different.
Yeah. So those two stuck for eternity in a library.
I feel like that's what makes a lot of jokes funny. Is it the juxtaposition?
Yeah. It's like, right, how do you put something highbrow and lowbrow together and make it
work?
Yeah. I love that. But it's that folk horror that. The last show we did was Deviled Eggs, and that we did a lot of research in archives. Are you uncomfortable?
She just wants to be loved.
Yeah,
she just wants to be loved. Hi, baby.
So we found like death records and all sorts of things that had happened in Blackpool and Lancashire and Kirklees, and things that had happened in B&Bs and things that had happened in theatres, and kind of tried to find the interesting stories and then put that together in lots of different characters. Because there was, say, in this one bed and breakfast, there was lots of people staying that were all show people. So contortionists and mentalists. So thinking how could that manifest itself into a story? And so we then went, right, we've got two characters. They are, and we based it round. Have you ever watched Your Rosemary's Baby?
Yes.
So the next door neighbours in Rosemary's Baby. We essentially played those two characters.
Oh, that's such an interesting take on it.
I went, like,
what the hell's going on over there?
What if they ran a bed and breakfast, but they were both from Blackpool?
Yeah.
Well, no, I based the character slightly on my mum, because she was a landlady and Scottish. So I kind of took those characters and then went, right, this is a bed and breakfast that there's a judgment, there's something. It all started, there's one story we got told when we were on our travels, and it was this woman ran a bed and breakfast, and it turns out this couple would come every year, and then eventually they brought their son every year. And then all of a sudden they stopped. And then a few years later, the son just came on his own. And then she went to dust in his room, and there was 2 urns. And he'd come to sprinkle his mum and dad in the bed and breakfast because it was their happy place. And she ended up saying, and it was cheeky because he only booked a single room. And there's some really interesting stories that come out of these B&Bs.
Yeah.
And then a family friend of ours ran a bed and breakfast, and she, I called her Nanny. She wasn't my nanny.
Yeah.
But Nanny, she ran this bed and breakfast. And one story was I can't remember the details exactly, But there was a honeymooners came to stay at the bed and breakfast, and they'd booked a room with a television, but she'd forgotten.
Oh, we've got 5 minutes left.
5 minutes, very quickly. She'd forgotten.
Sorry, I feel like I'd stress. I thought this is a good idea to make sure it doesn't ramble on, but then I'm like, oh no, now I'm stressed. Sorry,
She went. She booked this room. They wanted a TV, but she'd forgotten that she'd agreed to loan this TV out to her family because they run a business. So in the middle of the night, she snuck into the bedroom and took the telly out of the honeymooners' bedroom.
Stop it.
And I just had this vision of going, what did that couple think the next morning?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure there was a telly there. So it kind of got this kind of idea of supernatural things. And so anyway, the show that we wrote ended up, there was a demon in the basement.
Nice.
That would consume acts that we didn't think were good enough to be staying at our bed and breakfast.
Perfect. That's such a good. Is that why it's called deviled eggs? Is because they're bed and breakfast.
And that's,
I love that.
And we'd written so many stories over the time, and one of the stories is called The Guest, and it's on our website. That started off the idea of supernaturally stuff. And all right, so we like that kind of folk horror, but turning it modern
and funny.
Yeah,
I'm funny.
Putting the humour in, but keeping that.
I love that. That's brilliant. That's really cool.
Tales of the Unexpected. Inside Number 9.
I need to see you guys live because you combine a lot of things I like. I really, really want to see you guys live. Because you combine music, I love music, you combine comedy, and then of course you've got all this like sort of interesting, like, you know, off camera, before even this was recording, you were chatting about like that the willow tree and loads of other, like, there's so much research that goes into it.
Yes, because it's being interested. I think it used to be always autobiographical stuff. There's only so much. There's only so much interesting stuff you can mine out of your own. And obviously everything you do comes from your life.
Yeah.
But there's so many stories out there. And like, you think of all of the Greek mythology and Egyptian, all of the, even biblical stories. You go, they're stories, but if you can modernise that and put your own slant on it, it's fascinating.
Definitely, 100%.
Yeah.
Right, only got 3 minutes left.
3 minutes to go.
So, this is a badge for you. Now you're an Oh no! It's disappeared into the sofa. You're now a member of the Eccentric Lady Society. There you go. It's a little badge. So you can wear that. Ta-da!
Fab.
And I think the most important thing is, like, where can people catch you if they want to watch your stuff in the future?
Oh, right.
Next, what is on the horizon?
What's on the horizon?
I'm going to turn off this time. I don't want you mid talking, it catching your flow, and it goes.
Our next shows, we're doing a run of shows at the Edinburgh Fringe, so we're doing a game show there, and so I think we've got 4 dates in Buxton in July. Then we're also doing Whitehaven Comedy Festival, so we're comparing the day and doing some shows part of that. Our next show is this weekend down in Essex or Sussex, can't remember, down south.
Oh wow!
So we're doing Deviled Eggs on the 28th of June and the 5th of July, I think, down there. Yeah. Where else? Can't remember.
As soon as the camera goes off, you'll be like, we're also doing this, and we're doing this, and we're doing this. Oh, and we're also doing this.
Oh, and in August, we're doing the Open Up the Mic project.
Yeah.
So we get a group of young people to try stand up for the first time.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's kids from Blackpool come along, and it's a free course.
Yeah.
And at the end, they get to do a gig.
Very nice. Very cool.
With a profession, and they get professional photographs taken by Andy Hollingworth, who has taken Victoria Wood's photograph.
Yeah.
He had an exhibition at Showtown that's going around. around the world.
Around the world.
So yeah,
That is really cool.
It's a lovely, lovely project that
Yeah.
the kids get to try out telling stories.
Yeah.
And being funny.
And being funny.
Telling their own stories. So that's something I'm proud of as a project.
Yeah. That's really cool.
Yeah. And then it's starting the tour again in September. So it's.
Have you got your dates confirmed for the tour and where you're going to go?
They keep popping up on the website.
Yeah.
I can, yeah.
You can never remember on the dot, but yeah, I completely get that.
It's things are in the pipeline.
Things are in the pipeline,
and it's all things are getting booked in for 2027 now.
Yeah,
that's mad.
That is absolutely mad.
So,
well, if you're in Blackpool again, please do let me know.
Always,
please, because I do really want to see you guys perform. It's very cool. It's very cool to have actually come across and befriended a comedian. It's like
it was great. It's lovely seeing the scene of Blackpool evolving, and just knowing that there's interesting people like yourself, just creating stuff. And,
yeah. I mean, like, I'm just doing it for my own enjoyment.
But that's what you should do. It has to be.
I don't think I'm ever gonna go anywhere. Just enjoy it.
That's the point. It's about enjoyment and creating a scene where you're living and creating interesting events that bring people together. That's the main thing. It's like I love putting things online and doing like acting or whatever on films, but
nothing replaces that in real life.
And bringing people together. And when we go and do shows and you see people, it's the same people in each show you go to, and you remember, like, all right, oh hi, it's good to see you.
Yeah.
It's that
community
moment. Yeah, it's a community of people, and that's I think it's really important. And I think people are getting fatigued with just sitting and watching things on their own.
Yeah,
it's
not much soul in it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Like we all mindlessly scroll, and I try not to, but it's so isolating.
Yeah,
that I think putting shows on and smaller shows, like your hundreds people in a room, that's amazing. That's a community of people all there experiencing something together. And when you laugh together and you've all laughed at the same thing, you've all got something in common. In that moment, we might all be completely different and might all have completely different opinions, but if
in that second,
moment you're all together and you all leave having done something together. It's electric. I love it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, on that note, thank you for joining us for the Eccentric Lady Society. And it's been a lovely episode. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
And
you.
And thanks, Coco, for not going too crazy. Coco just wants love and affection and attention. She's half golden retriever, half poodle, and the golden retriever really comes out when she's socialising. She's very needy.
There's nothing wrong with being
very
needy.
Sweet. Yeah. Right. Thank you for watching.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.